Ladies and gentlemen, please silence all communication devices at this time. Our program is about to begin. Please take your seats.
Please welcome the program chair of the FETC Conference and Expo, Jennifer Womble.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here and welcome to Friday. I've got just a few reminders before we get to the good stuff with TechShare Live. The Expo Hall will be open today until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So this is your last chance to go by and visit all of the exhibitors. So please make sure to take full advantage of that all day. Friday is Swag Day at FETC. This morning, you're able to get your FETC annual mug at the LRP booth. So if you go all the way to the south entrance, the LRP booth is number 110. So that's where you can pick up your mug today. Also today, you may have seen our volunteers walking around in their FETC t-shirts. You can get one of those t-shirts today, starting at 11 o'clock this morning. 7 different booths all throughout the exhibit hall will be giving out those t-shirts. So please check in your show guide on page 79 to see which booths have t-shirts so you can go and visit them and pick yours up. Also today, if you haven't already, make sure you register for the Lenovo Grand Prize. The Grand Prize drawing will be at 1:50, and at that time, you must be present to win. So this is a $30,000 package of classroom equipment. So you definitely want to be able to take that back to your school or district. So make sure that you've already registered to win, and you must be present at booth 220 this afternoon at 1:50. Following that, the show floor will close and the event will end at 2 o'clock. I will want to make sure that you go ahead and mark your calendars for next year. So in 2018, we'll be right back here in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center, January 23rd through 26th. So many of you have tired feet, and I see lots of cups of coffee this morning after a late night of karaoke and other things happening around town. So I hope you had a really good time with your colleagues and enjoyed your time at FETC. We really appreciate you being here. We know what it took to get here, so I'm really thankful to each and every one of you. So if you'll take a minute and turn to your partner or somebody around you, even a stranger, and stand up. Everybody's got to stand up this morning. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. And turn to someone around you, preferably a stranger, and I want you to give them a high five and tell them, you're awesome. We need it. You're awesome. Yes. Oh. I'm on this side.
No, you're on this side. You're on this side.
I have to be on this side.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Because everything you're about to see this morning is going to blow you away. So I wanted to get you up and ready and prepared. Get on the edge of your seat. Be ready to have complete attention. Some of you may remember TechShare Live started out as a pre-conference event. And this year, we're excited that it's moved to the main stage. This morning, you're going to see some of the best and most innovative emergent technologies. So get ready. I am very proud to introduce Adam Bello and TechShare Live.
In here, we're super excited to get started. You don't want to look at that guy. Where are the slides? We'll do slides instead. It's been an awesome week. I hope you guys have had a really, really wonderful time and seen some amazing things. And there we go. That's much better looking than me. So really, it's been a lot of fun. I hope everyone's seen some really exciting things. Just as a quick reminder that the hashtag that we're using is hashtag TechShare and, of course, hashtag FETC. That is great. It really, this year it feels like technology has really just been exploding everywhere. It's just been incredible. In case you have exploding technology, you can get it. You all right? No? Maybe it's just me. Right. So anyway, we're back, which is always a strange feeling. It's like, oh, I guess we weren't that bad. It's good. So, we have Hall and Leslie and Kathy and myself, and we're very, very excited to share with you some of the emerging trends and things that we're excited about in the technology space this year. I'm going to make everyone jiggle. This is my, yeah. They're all jiggling. There we go. There we go. Okay, so as some people, how many people have been here before to a Tech Share live? Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know that we have some real rock stars here. In fact, we have a Schrock star. So if you are so lucky, you can get Kathy Schwag, or you can get Leslie Schwag, or backed by popular demand, you can get the Hall Davidson flashing LED t-shirt. Right. I don't have any swag. How many people went to karaoke last night? I'm sure that the seats next to you that are empty are filled with people that went to karaoke yesterday. I saw you crazy folks. Jerry's here who won. I went. Unfortunately, I was going to sing. I was super excited, but I didn't get a chance to, which was pretty upsetting. And then I had an idea. I was like, oh, I could sing here for you. And if it's bad, please don't laugh. Or laugh, but don't tell me about it. So, without further ado, we welcome you. Yeah. Oh, I'll wait for the audio to come up there, too. Is that cool? Try one more time. Mon chéri, mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you here today. Let us invite you to relax, sit back, pull back a chair, as FETC proudly presents your Tech Share. Be our guest, be our guest, put our gadgets to the test, install apps and try them out, Sherry. We only share the best. Maker tools, coding too. Why we love to share with you. Try that locking box, it's amazing. Don't believe me, ask your students. They can code, 3D print. After all, guys, this is school. And learning here is never second best. Go on, unfold your Chromebook, take some notes and treat them. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. Kathy's here, Leslie too, then there's Hall and I'm here too, and we're now so excited to share with you. Be our guest, be our guest. I've run out of lyrics, so let's just get started. All right. So thank you, yes, thank you. Thank you. It's no Vanilla Ice, Jerry. I know it's not Vanilla Ice, but that's what I could do. Mariah Carey, exactly. Oh, man. All right, anyway, so we have a lot to cover. I want to give you a warning, as we always tell you. This is a session, especially after our late night of imbibing water. You want to be very careful to not purchase anything in the next hour. Hide your wallets. I have made the mistake, and I've shared this every year, because every year I regret making this decision when Kathy is sharing Porkfolio, the Wi-Fi connected piggy bank that I bought for $50. Could have been better spent somewhere else, perhaps inside of an old piggy bank. Anyway, if you won the lottery, feel free. That's great. But if not, stay away. We're going to share a lot of things today, and I'm super excited to get it started with the one and only Kathy Schrock. Take it off.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for listening to my tweet last night that told you not to stay out too late so you could be here on time. As many of you know, I'm really passionate right now. Well, I'm passionate about lots of things, you know that. But I'm really excited about the impact that virtual reality can have in the classroom to support teaching and learning. Students can simulate experiences that are relevant to course content. They can explore otherwise inaccessible locations and decide on their own what to look at. I can't assume they're looking at what you want them to look at, by the way. They get to travel to distant world landmarks. And VR can supplement course curriculum to help them better understand concepts. Virtual reality is not reality. If it was, I would not be here. I'd be sitting on Cape Cod coming to you. It's a simulation or a recreation of something in real life that makes the user feel like they're there by tricking their vision and/or their hearing. So it's really very fake. There are many different ways for experiencing VR. One type is full immersion, collaborative environments with a computer tethered to a very powerful headset and some kind of additional handheld software, gloves. We're not talking about that. I can't imagine at this point that's going to be totally accessible to every child in your classroom. So I'm going to discuss mobile VR, utilizes a smartphone, which is also a bone of contention because that's the price that the most expensive part of this, and a low-cost viewer. Virtual reality, now your history lesson. Virtual reality is not new. The lenticular stereoscope, often called the Brewster stereoscope, was demonstrated at the Great Exhibition in France in 1851. Photographers created stereographed cars with each picture on the car just a little bit off from the other picture, which stimulated the brain to see it in 3D. How many people ever used something that looked like this? My aunt had one, and I just was at a yard sale, and I was able to, I bought an image. I was like, can I buy that? And I'm like, yeah, how much you want to pay? I'm like, $1? And they're like, sure. So now I have my own. But this is a stereoscope that was designed in his spare time by Oliver Wendell Holmes. This viewer uses the same brain faking principle as the Google Cardboard-based headsets that were used today. When looking for a head-mounted display, right, Google Cardboard, HMD, look, you want one that says Google Cardboard certified or works with Google Cardboard, because each display has a specific QR code on it. So whether you have an Android device or an iOS device, you take a picture of the QR code and it tells it through Google Cardboard app, but then when any other VR app, it knows what headsets you're using. The headsets differ. The lenses are closer to your eye, they're farther apart. There's all kinds of specific things that each headset has. Once you've taken the picture, you can then choose it from a list in your phone. These are my favorite head-mounted displays. The original Google Cardboard, the Dodo Case P2 pop-up. The reason I like that one, it's easy to transport and it's also easy to store, and you don't have to build it. The first 2 Google Cardboards I built, I put the lenses in backwards. So I'm sure no one's ever done that, right? Except for me. The ViewMaster VR HD is a really sturdy one for classrooms, but buy the first version. The second one does a little more, but the big phones don't fit in it very well. I mean, you really have to force an iPhone 7 Plus in it. If you don't have an iPhone 7 Plus, you don't have to worry. And the Dodo Case Smart VR Case, I carry it in my pocketbook, so I can bore anybody, anytime, with my VR images. All right? Folds down, teeny weeny thing. There's a new Google headset available, which Hall will show you later, that looks amazing to me, the Google Daydream View. It's a really comfortable headset. It's all cushy, but one thing about headsets for the classroom, do not put these on them. You'll have children falling downstairs. There's a reason for this. Or if a kid's going on a roller coaster and they're feeling sick, you just say, take it away from your eyes, and the roller coaster will go away. The only caveat is that only works with the new Google Pixel, which apparently Halls is haunted, and it calls me at all times of the day or night for some unknown reason. But there are some other Daydream-ready smartphones. Not likely that it'll be on the iPhone side anytime soon. Take a look at it. Pretty amazing, and that little handset gets stored right in it, which is a nice thing. So there's tons of educational VR projects out there that are useful with a head-mounted display or via a touch screen. You don't have to have a display in order to use a lot of these things. Discovery VR, of course, Discovery is the king of videos, so it's made up of all VR videos. There's an app available for iOS and Android for immersible via a headset, not that headset, but a cardboard headset. And the videos can be viewed in a web browser, and a mouse on, if it's a touch screen, can be moved, or on a tablet. Google Expeditions, available for iOS and Android, allows a teacher to guide students. So students all have a device with a headset, with a head-mounted display. The teacher has a tablet, and the teacher can put, you can see on the picture on the right, there's those little dots. You can tell the students, look at that crustacean, or look at that piece of coral. If everyone in your class, when you're doing that, is not like looking in the same place, you know they're not looking at it. You can't force them to look at it. Like if Joey's over here, you know he's looking at something else. So you can still, although they're very engaged, if you want him to look at that, you need to say, look for the red dot. TES, I just found this one the day before yesterday. TES is the Times Educational Supplement out of the UK, has tons of free curriculum-based lessons which utilize Google Expeditions that are available. So there are things, physics and all millions of them in there, and they're arranged searchable by grade level and searchable by topic. I'll give you the link to all this in a little bit. ThingLink has a virtual reality lesson plan app for students which allows them to move around their finger on an iOS device or use a head-mounted display to be immersed in the image. All right, it's a paid iOS app. Nearpod VR contains 360 lessons that are part of the Nearpod site license. Some are in conjunction with the 360 Cities site. There are lessons surrounding the images, and they can be viewed on any device and with a head-mounted display. And what's nice about this is teachers can also create their own adventures. There are many mainstream news agencies, cultural institutions, sports institutions, online companies, and more who are offering their content through VR. I bought something from a sports store one day, and it came with Google Cardboard, which was nice, all assembled for me. And I could, with my phone, I could go to the app, and I could do a virtual tour of all their wares. There are three, so if you want to find other places to get images, there's 3 Flickr groups to look at. The first is the equirectangular group, which sounds really odd, but that's what these are, equirectangular images. There's thousands of images, and they can be viewed with a Google Cardboard headset or via a tablet. If you notice, they're not all images. So students can make equirectangular images in software, like in art class, and then you're immersed in their art project or their Escher drawing or whatever. So it's a pretty nifty site. The second is, of course, the 360-degree group in Flickr with 360 images that can also be viewed with Cardboard. Now, these images are not like flat JPEGs. They carry what would be kind of like the XLIF data. So a Google Cardboard reader knows that it's looking at it, that it's a Google Cardboard image, and to give you the effect that you need. I maintain this group. This is called 360 Images for Schools. And this is where I encourage teachers and students who are creating 360 images, whether they're of their school or whatever, to Creative Commons license them and load them up here so other people can download them. There are also many VR apps for iOS, Android, and Windows mobile smartphones, and many other devices that you can investigate for use with students and decide how a VR experience would work in your class. There are online sites with apps that are moving around. The largest of these is the YouTube 360 channel. There's tons of things there. Obviously, as with everything else that we look at, you're going to have to, look carefully before you assign them to students. The Virtuality is a Kickstarter campaign that allows students with mobile devices or head-mounted displays to view educational items right on your chest. Now, you might not want to do this in high school, but in other grades it would probably be fine. So, all right, $24.50. All right. Yeah, cool, huh? There's that. And you can see, you can use Google Cardboard. That's what the Google Cardboard view looks like down in the bottom. Students can also create. I'm big about students creating items, not just consuming. So they can easily create 360 panoramic images that can be viewed with a head-mounted display or manually interacted with on a mobile device. There are 3 low-cost devices that I recommend. The Ricoh Theta S, low cost, $350. It took me 6 months to decide to buy it, but it's so much fun. It has 25 minutes, it does images, obviously, but it has 25 minutes of continuous video, and you can also live stream with it to now Facebook and YouTube. The Ricoh Theta SC is $50 cheaper, the same guts as the Ricoh Theta S, except that it only allows 5 minutes of continuous video. If video is what you care about, get the Theta S. If not, save yourself the $50. The Insta360 Nano works with with iPhone 6 and iPhone 7. It plugs into the Lightning port, attaches to the phone. It's interesting. The quality of the pictures is okay, but if you're holding your phone, there's always your big bulbous hand that's in the 360 picture, right? You look down and all you see is Kathy's hand on the top of her head. It does come with the tripod mount accessory for $30 more. What's nice about the Ricoh Theta is you put it on the tripod, you set it up, and kind of like the dentist's office when they do a X-ray of you, they get out of the way. You go hide somewhere, and you use your phone to trigger the camera. The Insta360 Nano doesn't do that. So you physically have to touch it to take the picture. So no matter what, your big bulbous hand is always in the picture. But it is cheap. And it doesn't have any internal memory of its own. It has a micro SD card. There are phone apps that allow you to take 360 images also. They can be uploaded to hosting sites and viewed in a browser and using a cardboard device. My favorite for iOS is the 360 Panorama app. You just stand in one place and move around. You don't have to touch any shutter, and it just takes the pictures for you. They suggest you go totally in a circle and then move to another level and move to another level. We're not going to do my whole house, but I'll stop in a minute and show you the end part. Now my house is I live in a geodesic dome, so my house is full of angles. And so when you do it this way, you're like, oh, that's really cruddy, it's not matching up, the dining room table chair looks awful. But when you put it all together and look at it, which I will show you in a second. Okay, Kath, show. I know, I live in a geodesic. Doesn't everyone live in a geodesic dome? All right, we'll see my house later. This is Google Street View, and Google Street View is available on Android and iOS. It allows you, obviously, to take 360 images of places you're visiting and send it up to Google Maps. But in reality, you don't have to send it anywhere. Once you take them on your phone, it automatically saves to your gallery or your camera roll, so you have a 360 image locally. For modern Android cameras, a 360 spherical panoramic camera is built right into the phones. If you don't have that little spherical panoramic thing, you can go get it. I have an old Samsung that I use for demos, and I was able to go get the camera app that allows you to do the 360 panoramics in here. Same as Google Street View, works the same way. Follow the blue dot, all right, to make the item. What? Sure. Yeah. Okay. I use the Ricoh Theta S. All right. There's also a building environment called CoSpaces, which allows students to build environments that can be viewed with a head-mounted display. We're going to zip through those. Hosting the images, round.me, youtube.com, ThingLink VR Editor. If you look quickly, you can get my code and try that out. Allows you to put hotspots on the images. I'm almost done, Adam. Online hosting service Little Star allows you images and videos. And I'll finish with a WOW. The WOW is not really about this single app called Jaunt, but about the future of cardboard headset access. If you look, that's the prototype of all of their process of thinking and creating this. It would be great for students to go through their site and look at the history of this cinematic VR app. All right? There's the URL to go, and I'm done. Sorry. I never go over.
I know, I'm stunned.
I know.
Stunned.
I mean, what I love about that is like virtual reality is almost going to be better than reality. It's just incredible. So I'm ready for that future. So I think we're now going to hear from Hall, who's going to
Sorry, Hall.
wow us with some other futuristic stuff.
Yes, real reality. And
Yeah.
And the sound is on the computer, right? Right. Okay. So this is the lighthouse where I live. No, this is not my
my
machine.
house.
Is that your house? Really?
No, it's my
Because that's not geodesic, technically. All right, anyway, TechShare, all this stuff is online like Kathy, so you'll see this URL pop up all the way through it. Kathy talked a lot about VR. I thought I'd at least talk about augmented reality just in passing. Augmented reality is when something lays on top of what's real. So what's real is still there, but something lays on top. And this is Magic Leap. This is not coming to your school this year, but maybe next year, but I think it's really fun to see. So, how many people have been to an assembly before? All right, look at this one. That'll be a cool assembly. Anyway, that's magic. You want to see it again? Okay, here, look. Let's look at it one more time. Sound up. Anyway, soon. That'll be fun. But right now, what I think a great use of augmented reality is this Florida Middle School yearbook. This is it, and I think the teacher's here. It's Lacanto. And if you go into this yearbook inside, if you hold a phone over it using Erasmus, this is the cover.
Hey guys, it's Martin here with the 4th period yearbook staff. And we just wanted to wish you guys a great summer. Thanks for buying our yearbook this year. Hope you enjoyed the book and leave you with a last-minute secret Aurora. So peace out.
So I just think isn't that great? So it augments it, and all throughout the yearbook, you see these little gold line things, and every time you look at it, it's got a trigger, it's got a video, or a student testimonial, or some project, or some assembly. Anyway, that's augmented reality that's working right now. So
hey guys,
really fun to do that. That's this book. I don't know if you can still buy them or not. Isn't that a cool book, Don? Yeah. All right, so next is also a book. This is the Rocket Wave Notebook. This is something different. How many of you, anybody know about the Rocket Wave Notebook? It's a Kickstart project from last year, Kickstart project. Here's what it does, and I'll let an early adopter explain it. Here you go.
If you are anything like me, I prefer taking notes the old school way with pen and paper. But I also like to have electronic versions of my notes as well. First, you write notes in the notebook using a Pilot friction pen. Each page of the Rocketbook Wave contains 7 symbols. You simply assign each icon to the destination of your choice. Currently, then you use a smartphone app to capture and send your notes to pre-configured cloud services.
So what that means is, this is my Rocket book. These are my notes. I just took some notes from Kathy. The little symbols at the bottom, when I take it with my mobile phone, automatically send stuff to whatever I say. So this is my email account, and this is the notes that I took, and it sends a PDF to my account. All that's just from the page. But that's not the coolest part. The coolest part is when you want to erase it, I swear to God, you put it in a microwave oven with a mug of water. So here is my microwave, and this is my Banana Slug coffee mug. You put it in. I kid you not. In my microwave, it takes about 40 seconds, and it comes out blank. So the microwave erases the pin. Why is that? Because it's the erasable pins, and erasable pins really erase because of the heat of the friction. What? So when you put it in a microwave, it erases it. You can still see a little bit here of FETC and the stuff there, but that's the Rocket Wave book. I just think it's so cool. Yeah, remember to use Pilot erasable pins. That's the way it works. Anyway, that's what it is. It's 27 bucks. Kathy showed me this one. It's a little bitty one, so you can take it. You can't reuse it forever, but can use it enough for me. All right, so that's the Rocket Wave notebook. Microwave is extra. Anyway, this is a return of a favorite. I did this 5 years ago at the first TechShare, which we called the Brown Bag Shootout, and it was so cool to get a microscope and be able to attach it to a cell phone case. It turned any cell phone into a microscope. So we did that, and you used super glue and grommets and all this stuff. I remember because I super glued Leslie Fisher's power button down on her iPhone, which she took in and got a new one. Anyway, it's so here's what they are now. The new one looks like this. So I'm going to go out, and we're going to go into look at my very old iPhone. And here's a microscope. It now clips on, so it's a piece of cake. And if you look at it, it's 60 power. This is a $5 bill. And if you look on a $5 bill, it's just so small, I actually had to write on it with an erasable marker on U.S. currency. But there's Florida on a $5 bill. Did you know Florida was on the $5 bill? What? It is, anyway, right here. So that is the microscope, and it's a clip. You can also do here, look, Kathy's hair. There we go. So look for this. But that's what this is. So how much does it cost to turn a student's mobile phone into a microscope? Depends on how much you've got, but if you go onto Amazon, it costs between $6 and $7 to do it. Or you can buy exactly the same one for $17 on Amazon. So it's up to you. But basically, you can buy this little thing, which is, I think, amazing, for $6. It's really transformative. Since the first one, you can now also get a hookup that works with binoculars and monoculars. So you can actually get this. This will connect it to binoculars. You can actually see elk, apparently, or deer. That's a deer. And you can get it with a selfie stick, which I'm assuming is 300 yards long. I mean, how can you have a binocular with a selfie stick? Anyway, that's how that goes. So there's another 27 to do the selfie stick. Next, I really wanted to talk about artificial intelligence. Why Alexa versus Google Home Companion? Because in truth, a lot of your students are never going to get driver's licenses. They're going to be talking to a driverless car. So speaking to an artificial intelligence is going to be like driver's ed. This is the head of IBM who does Watson, talking about the convergence of big data, cloud, and analysis. Our students are going to be working with artificial intelligences in their job. There's no question about that. So we need to start getting it into schools. So this is a school in Fullerton, and they had a kind of a scavenger hunt like I did here at FETC last year, and they used Alexa and Google Home Companion as part of the deal. So here's the teacher giving the instructions.
Oh, sorry, you do have the artificial intelligence. You have Alexa over here. You have OK Google on a screen over there. You have Google here, guys. This is OK Google, similar to Alexa. And over here, and you can all use Siri. So you can all use Siri. You're on your device.
So part of that worksheet that you see over on the other side of the screen is assignments, and you need to talk to an artificial intelligence to get it. Now, we found out that not all artificial intelligences are created equal. So this is Alexa, and I love Alexa, but here was one of the issues.
Alexa, how many patents does Thomas Edison have?
I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
Alexa didn't know how many patents Thomas Edison had. Let's try it a different way.
Alexa, how many patents does inventor Thomas Edison have?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Gave it a little more
question.
information, didn't help. Alexa likes to use the word Wikipedia.
Alexa, Wikipedia the number of patents by Thomas Edison.
To see a list of Edison patents from Wikipedia, check out the Alexa app.
So she sent it to my phone, but here's the final
Alexa,
comparison.
How many patents did Thomas Edison have?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question I heard.
Okay, Google, how many patents did Thomas Edison have?
1,093. According to Wikipedia, his final count was 1,093 U.S. patents, including 1084 utility patents and 9 artistic design patents.
Thomas Edison have?
More
Alexa,
information than I needed to know.
how many patents does inventor Thomas
Go back. Anyway, it did. Alexa did send it to me in Versa Bing. She did send me the number of patents there, so that it was there. But there is a difference between those devices. Here's what else was fun. This is Alternative Facts Part 1. This is not political at all, and you have to listen carefully, but I asked the devices when sunset was, so listen.
Okay, Google, when is sunset?
The sun will set at 4:52 p.m.
4:52.
Alexa, when is sunset?
Sunset is at 4:51 p.m.
So it disagreed on sunset, which isn't that tricky a concept. So here's what I figured out. Google Home Companion said it was at 4:52. Alexa said 4:51. They're actually in the east. My house is north and south. There's the east and the west, and it's very possible this is the exact spot where the sun changes when it sets down. So it must be exactly how it works. Anyway, the microphones can stay on. You got to be careful. There's a law case where they're subpoenaing Alexa, so I thought I'd check out Alexa too. This is me sweating Alexa.
Alexa, has my wife been watching episodes of Stranger Things?
I'm not sure what you meant by that question.
Oh, really? That's funny. You're about 2 feet from the television. How about now? Alexa, has my wife been sneaking episodes of Stranger Things?
Sorry, I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
Really? Don't make me open this box. I'll do it.
Anyway, you can turn off the microphones, but remember in your classroom you've got other recording devices that you can't turn off, so anyway, keep that in mind. My TV is getting data from me. Anyway, you can also get, and I'm not able to show this, but you're also able to bring this into your classroom for $49. The Dot really works for $49. And if we check it now, let me just show you can connect it to a sound system. Sorry, $49. Alexa, play Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm. Sounds of Nature by Relaxing Sounds of Nature.
And as you can see, there's no rain outside. Anyway, that's how, I'm taking this off again, pop. So that's how that works, thank you. So for $49, bring it in your class, let kids talk to it. It's really kind of fun. All right, so 2 quickies in the wow round. 1, if you want an Apple Watch, you can make your own, right? It does all this great stuff. You can wear an Apple Watch for $49.99. How? Do it yourself. Here's how you do it. You buy a Nano, 6th generation. It does all these things, photos, Nike App Watch. I'm wearing one right now. And it has very near field communication. Watch this. Kathy Schrock, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Amazing. Through my phone. It has a limited range. Anyway, here's you can buy them for $12. You buy a watch band, which can cost $3, and you've got an Apple Watch, the original Apple Watch, for $49.99. Is that not amazing? Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to go. I want to go down to the wow round so I don't run out of time. Although I will show you this. This is alternate facts part 2. I was watching this infomercial, called in to actually get it. Was actually more than $29, and I said, but it's not supposed to be. And they said, well, we include another pan free. You just pay a separate fee. So it's free if you pay a separate fee. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. So wow round. Here's what I did. How many of you know Snapchat? Did you know you can make your own filters for your school events, even for your own classroom, and it only works within those boundaries? So here's what I did. You go to GeoFilters, you log on. If you get a community one, like a school one, it's possible that it's free. Otherwise, you go into On Demand, and you either create those or do it. I created one for TechShare. These are the ones I created. Notice many were rejected by Snapchat. It's because Snapchat does not like you to use photos. So I went into an online program and kind of manipulated the photos to look like pencil drawings, and it approved that. That one got through. So there you go. So here's what you do. You log on, and I'm going to try to maybe do this live, but this is what I built. You pick the colors and the palettes, and you upload your images. You've got to have a transparent image, which you can do online at Pixel, which is free and which is great. Then you decide when you want your Snapchat filter to show up. And let's say this is your classroom and you just want it to show up on Friday, right? Just within the boundaries of your room. You can do that. Although you have to have, there's a minimum size you have to do. So I went outside. Let me see if we can look at it live. I went outside outside the convention center. And now I'm in Snapchat, right? Snapchat. And it says draw fence. So I could draw a fence so that it went all the way over the convention center. And it can be huge, and it'll give you the price. So, anyway, I was trying to set this up ahead of time. But if I do this, there's $5.36 for the ability to do a Snapchat filter that I designed over that much of the convention center. That's pretty good. Yesterday, it was $10,000 for the convention center. I'm kidding, not kidding you. I've got a screenshot of it. But that's how it works. Anyway, so here's what it looked like. I did it over you draw that map, and I did it over the convention center, and you see that it's in the front. So if you go to the front of the South Hall and you open Snapchat and you flip around, you're going to see the filter that I made. So you do it. If it approves it, it buys it. It takes your credit card number. Don't try to hack it. But for me, for the whole front of the convention center, it was going to be $20. And I figured, I'll spring for it for you guys. I'll also take contributions if you want to come up later. But so when you go outside to that area, remember it's that area of the convention center, and you take a Snapchat, you flip over the filters, and you are going to see this. So we're at the top, and here's my challenge to you, is this is TechShare. So would you please share your tech, whatever you think is cool or good, in that Snapchat, put in the Tech Live filter, and you will all have been part of TechShare. Is that not fantastic? How many of you think you would like to make a Snapchat filter for your room or your class? And again, you set the time, either an hour or a day, and the price ratchets up. You watch exactly how much it does when you do that. Anyway, that's my wow round. Thank you very much. All these slides are at that URL. How many people learned something? Okay, good. Don't forget the dot. Don't forget the dot. $49 for your classroom. Thank you.
That was awesome, and I feel like Hall could be on those commercials. Like, tell them what else they'll win. If you act now, you'll get 2 Snapchat filters. Just pay an extra fee.
It's true.
Really good. All right, Leslie, what do you got?
I don't have a voice, that's for starters, but if you've been hanging out with me for the past few days, you know I sound a little bit better. Hi, kids, how we doing? We good? Awesome. We having fun so far? Awesome. Okay, so I apologize for the voice. I'm trying my best. It's getting better every single day. So let's just jump into it because I only have a limited amount of time with you. And one of the first things I want to start with is probably my favorite new app of the year. If you were here last year, you know I talked about Google Photos quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go to my iPad, and I want to show you my favorite new app. So did everyone get this brute of a program guide? Yes? And then did anyone look through to see if you are in any of these photos? No? I mean, there's a lot of photos in here. You might be in here. And there's always this time where you have a photo and you're like, oh, you know what I want to do? I want to take a picture of this photo. And then when you try to take a picture of the photo, the page might be crinkled, there might be glare coming down. All these things get in the way of it. And I've never found an effective way to be able to take a photo of a photo, honestly. So this is my favorite app, new app of the year, and it's called Google Photoscan. Who has not heard of Google Photoscan? Can I please see your hands? So Google Photoscan is by a little company you might have heard of called Google. Not sure if you heard of these guys. And so I'm going to take this photo. Anyone in here that's... So I got text, I got all this other stuff going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to hit the photo button, and then Google Photo is going to look at it, or Photoscan. It's going to go, hey, do me a favor. Move over here. Move over here. Move over here. Move over here. And then it's going to go and it's going to analyze the photo. You'll see that it's going from red to yellow to green. It still looks like it's working. You guys are killing the internet. I'm proud of you. And there's the photo that it just took. If you don't think that's cool, so you could take a picture on a wall. You could do a photo scan of a picture on a wall. It's going to minimize the glare. It's going to take all the photo frame around from it. You could even come in here and say, hey, I want to adjust the corners. And it's going to show you the original photo it took. And then you can go in there and adjust the corners. Now, if you use Google Photos, which I'm hoping many of you do, this will go straight into your Google Photos, and it will just simply add it. And I was just plowing through all these photos of my family in December, and I was able to knock out about 100 photos in a little over an hour. It's that cool. Do we like? Yeah, I agree. That thing is awesome. Okay, so the next thing I want to share with you is I want to share with you my favorite educational website of the year. So, Flipped Classroom, BYOD, are becoming very big, and I'm very excited about it, the idea of embracing the individual learner. But at the same time, I want to make sure you as an educator has a great place to be able to put their content effectively. I discovered a website called Versal. Who has not heard of Versal? Can I please see your hands? Who has not heard of Versal? So what I want to do is I'm going to try to create a Versal really, really quick just to give you an idea, and then I'll show you a completed one. Versal is about putting courses, information online. And this might be a flipped classroom, 1-hour thing you give your students, or this might be an entire semester. It's up to you. It's up to how much content that you want to put on. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say create new course, and I'm going to name it FETC. When I do that, you'll notice I have all these areas to add a lesson, so I can keep adding lessons, lessons, lessons. And I'll just go in here, and I'll just go in here and name this one and say texture. So now that I've done that, take a look down here. Look at all of the things that I can add. And all I have to do to add one of these is simply take them, drag it, and drop it. And I'm slowly going to build my courseware. And not only does it offer things like, if you take a look here, you have things like quizzes and slideshows and short responses. I could even come into an area called viewers. So if you said to me, Leslie, we're using Quizlet, we're using Google Docs, we're using Diskit, we're using Prezi, I could come in here, drag that in here as well, and embed it right into my Versal. I could even come in here and go into the gadget market. And the gadget market has all of these different areas. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in science. And then when I do, it's going to show me all these different gadgets that are available to me. I could simply click on it, I could download it to my tray, and this 3D molecule can be added to any courseware that I want. Yes, I can go ahead and deploy it and have people take this as an assignment. Yes, I can share this with others. Yes, I can keep it private to my class. This thing goes on and on and on in what it can do. If you told me that I had to offer an online courseware, I would go straight to Versal. I haven't found anything else that's close to it. So that's Versal. Do we like? Awesome. I just love the thing. I think it's cool. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is I kind of want to talk about my favorite educational gadgets of the year. But to prep you for my favorite educational gadgets, I got to tell you a little story about this kid. I grew up with a green t-shirt, a green carpet, green walls, and a green desk. That's why you never see me wear green. Thing I didn't know about myself at that age is I was slightly dyslexic. I always loved when a teacher said, "Is everyone done reading?" I would not say, "No, not me." I'd raise my hand because I didn't want to be the one that was reading so slow. And it took me until college to realize that I was really having a tough time reading and that I was behind everyone else. And that's why I love embracing the individual learner. Really, the only time I enjoyed reading text is when the text showed up like this, purple. It meant that that was ditto fluid. And there was one thing that I could do to make my day better. I do think education would be a little bit more exciting if we could return ditto fluid to the hands of America's educators. Could you imagine how much more enjoyable your day would be? And if you're too young to remember ditto fluid, how many of you want to admit to when you're using your whiteboard, you take just a little sniff off that little? That is nothing compared to ditto fluid. That's like sticking your head in a barrel of those markers, people. That's when educators were happier. That was the only thing I liked about reading paper, was actually sniffing it before I had to attempt to read it. These were my happiest moments. It's when the AV guy wheeled in the projector. I looked just as happy as all those people in there. In fact, when I ran home and I used this. This thing took me everywhere. This thing took me all over the world. There's a really good chance that this was your first virtual reality headset. I remember running to the toy store and getting a new reel, what's out, and this took me all over the world, and I was just limited simply to my imagination. One of the things that has really, really helped me out is a font called Open Dyslexic. Anytime I can, I change the font to what I'm reading on the web or anywhere else to Open Dyslexic. So if you know someone that struggles with reading, take a look at this font. This thing is great. The other thing that I'm super, super excited about, and you're one of the first groups to hear about it, is a pen from a company called Hidden Abilities. And what this pen does is it has a Bluetooth earpiece. You hover the pen over the text, and it reads the text into your ear. This won the 2015 Wozniak Entrepreneurship Award. It's currently available on Indiegogo on pre-order. It's going to have a $400 price point on release date, but right now you can save $100 and order it for $300 off of Indiegogo. And right now, I talked to them a couple days ago, they feel very confident that we will be seeing this next month or March. I cannot wait for this. I still struggle. I read so slow. So I just can't wait for this. So I can get, how many of you know a student or an adult that would benefit from one of these pens? Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to make a big difference. The strange thing about me, there's a lot of strange things about me if you've been hanging out with me, is that I could read music with absolutely no problem. I was a music major in college. I could read that right now and play it, and I haven't even touched sheet music in probably 7 or 8 years. And for me, it was always interesting when I saw another student struggle with reading sheet music. I'm like, why? It's so simple, it's so straightforward, and other people would just, their head would explode. So this is another place where today's technology has been able to embrace those people who aren't as musically inclined as me. One of my favorite little, oh, I forgot about this part. This was the reason I got into technology. It's a Yamaha DX7 keyboard. And I used to download sounds to this keyboard using this thing called a modem. And this would be you. Please connect, please connect, please connect, please connect, please connect, please. Okay, that's good, that's good. Yeah, keep going, keep going. Yeah. Come on, wait for it. How many of you want to carbon date yourself back to those days? I love it when you guys complain about a spinning beach ball. I'm like, in my day. So when we talk about looking at music today, I absolutely love the Chrome Music Lab. And you don't even have to be musically inclined to start making music that sounds pretty good. There's all these, well, first of all, who hasn't heard of the Chrome Music Lab? There are all these different areas. Like I'll click here, and this is the rhythm area of the Chrome Music Lab. So we're going to have these two guys help us out here. It's going to go for father and son, and right here is where I can set their tempo. So let's say I want to go here, and I'll do that, and I'll do that, and I'll go here, and I'll go there. Let's go here. All right, let's hear what we got. And then we can keep going. Who's our next group? Oh, yeah. I sound so like I know what I'm doing. We can keep going. I think you guys get the idea. And yes, you can save these sound files and export them. And it's just a really fun way to introduce people to making music. When we keep kind of barking up this tree, so to speak, another one I love is a website called flat.io. This is crowdsourcing of making music. So I can go ahead and create a layer of music. I can share it, and then someone else can add their own layer of music to it. It's a wonderful website. This is EarSketch. Adam is going to talk to you quite a bit about coding, and coding is definitely one of those popular things that's going on right now. And I struggle with coding, just like I struggle with reading. But what EarSketch does is it takes the concept of coding and it introduces it to music. So I can sit there and lay out a musical score, and it's going to show me the coding that would have to happen for that musical score to play. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you an example. And who hasn't heard of EarSketch before? And this was one of the first times Adam and I were tinkering with it, and it was one of the first times when I look at where the coding is, I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. So here, for example, is this sample song. I can come in here and say I want to choose the artist or change the artist. I could come in here and say that I want to change the genre. I could even come in here and say that I want to change the instruments. So I have all these different choices of music that I can play. When I go ahead and I code my script, I go ahead and say run it. It checks it. It makes sure that everything's okay. I click play, and then I have my music that was coded. That was coded by a 5th grade student in Atlanta, Georgia. I think that's just a great, cool way to introduce your students to music. All right, so let's move on. How am I doing on time? Oh my gosh, I'm doing well on time. What's happened to me? Okay, so I want to finish with, for my wow round, and I have a feeling some of you guys have heard about this, but this was another one of those that I struggle with coding. And Osmo is here on the show floor. So if you like what you see, head down out of there. We'll wait for Adam to do his thing. And then head down there. How many of you have not seen Osmo coding yet? Can I see your hands if you have not seen it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite the hello, my dear, how are you? So Osmo has a series, I think it's about 9 different games that are available. And are we on that? There we go. So this is Obby. This is Osmo coding. The base Osmo unit's about $80. Coding is an additional $35. How it works is I take this item right here, and what this is a mirror. I slide it right on top of the camera of my iPad. Now this game, Obby coding, I want to collect strawberries. But the thing is I need to get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these little coding blocks. So what I can do with this one is say, hey, I want to go to the right, and I want to go to the right 2 steps, and then I need to head down 3, I'm guessing. Maybe that's too many, we'll find out. And then I'm going to go, and I'm just for time's sake, we'll say 4. I have a feeling Obby's going to be hitting a lot of trees. But does this make sense so far, guys? So I'll come here, plug this in, and I'm going to say now I want to run this script. Yep, I'm going to hit some trees, but I think you guys get the idea. Ah, poor Obby. But I coded wrong, but nothing blew up. Obby just ran into a tree, and I love that. If you look at the box of Osmo coding, it says from ages, I think, 8 to 12. And when Osmo called me, they said, how are you enjoying coding? I said, well, I think you need to get rid of that age requirement, because this 49-year-old learned about things like loops and conditions and all sort of things that never made sense to me until I was able to embrace my individual learner. So if you know you have me in your class, take a look at Osmo, because it really does a good job. There's a new one called Osmo Pizza Company, which is all about making sure that it's a money system where I can build pizzas and then make sure I give the proper change to my clients. So check it out. Oh my gosh, I'm almost at time. Thank you guys so much. I'm handing it right back to that man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. I mean, I love the fact that, A, I've learned about a whole bunch of new stuff. I'm going to go home and start microwaving my kids' notebooks. That's amazing. Very, very excited about all that. So I'm excited to share with you. I'm going to try to go as quick as I can. I'm going to share a couple things. I'm not going to share everything. I'm getting a nod. Is that okay? 5 minutes? Okay, cool. So last year I talked a little bit about the maker movement and coding, which obviously we've been seeing a big resurgence in both of these things. And Leslie provided the perfect segue into this, because there is a lot of opportunity for kids to start getting their hands ready with it. Literally the week after I was at FETC last year, I left to go work at the White House as a Presidential Innovation Fellow. And the 2 of the things I got to work on were the National Week of Making and CS for All, which coding and making, which was pretty cool. My son got to do some promo work playing on the White House lawn. This is his hand on the right. I just wanted to show you that picture because it's pretty dope. But yeah, it is, right? I was like, you got to play on the White House lawn. He's like, I'm so tired. I'm like, no, just enjoy that. So, oh, hold on. I hope the audio is here. We want to hear an announcement from the stage of the Department of Ed.
More standardized testing, one-to-one smartboards in everyone's classroom, Scantron sheets all over the room. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, so that was pre-election. Anyway, so in all seriousness, I want to give a major shout out to the work that is being done every single day at the Office of Ed Tech. What I would love for you to do is, there are these documents that have just been re-released just last week, updates to the tech plan for the year, updates to the Go Open initiative, updates for the Future Ready initiatives. And I would like you, this slide, if you would take out your phone and tweet this out as a thank you to OET, you could use the hashtag, tweet it at them. I'm going to give 10 seconds to let everyone do this, because these documents are not just trivial attempts at trying to capture what's going right in education. This is really the roadmap of where we are currently, as well as where we want to go. And I think for the first time in a while, it's really going in the direction that at least I personally feel is the correct way to kind of bring out all the things that we talk about and learn about here. So hopefully you've got enough time to grab that and say thank you. I recently got a 3D printer. I did the first thing that everyone did. I went to Thingiverse, we printed out a Pikachu for my children, and then I said, okay, that's great. What am I gonna do with this big giant thing in my room? And I let my kids start playing with Morphe. And Morphe is a free app that allows you to run a CAD program on your iPad, which I love. Of course, there's other ones out there. Tinkercad is an amazing program as well. These are great tools that take devices that are cool and give them more purpose beyond the initial introduction. A thing that we're going to hear a lot more about, I think, in the next few months when it's released, is the Boost by Lego. I'm going to show you just a quick little video over here and then blow past some of it. But basically, it's kind of like a mix of maybe Dash and Dot meets Lego Mindstorms meets Osmo in some way. It's block-based coding, but you build in Lego this robot that the kid's controlling. And there's a whole bunch of different things you can build. I think it's 6 different robots that do different things, including writing with a pen and all these other things as well. I love it. My kids are giant Lego fans, so other videos I'm going to skip, that dude. And I have to, I'm showing my age a bit here, but I think it's important to note that we talk about things like Mindstorms all the time. Yesterday there was a memorial for Seymour Papert. Obviously none of you were there. I wasn't there as well, but I do want to call attention to the fact that Seymour's work was instrumental in getting us to now what we're talking about as the trends 30 years ago. So his quote that I happen to really love, and I think it's a sound one for all educators, is the role of the teacher is to create the conditions for invention rather than provide ready-made knowledge. And that is exactly what I think we should do with coding. There are opportunities, I'm going to skim through all this stuff because I want to get you out of here in just a moment, but there's one called Code Gamer where the students actually build a game controller, they put it together, and then you have all different apps and different websites that you can learn how to code different games using real JavaScript. And there are sensors on here for sound and light and temperature that also connect and allow you to play, like clap your hands and make the guy jump, but you have to write the code. Works with all different computer types. Very, very cool. A nice blend of physical and digital properties for learning. LittleBits, a lot of people know LittleBits. They've been around a while, but they're coming out with even more expansion kits. I think the Arduino coding kit is amazing. The new Gizmo kits is great. And when students are learning how to build apps, putting things together, and looking at the code behind it, I personally find that incredible. We got a Dash and Dot recently, and my kids are obsessed. And at first, I'm like, all right, it's an amazing, it's cool, but when I saw the software, I was like, that is magical. The software that goes beyond it, they're now taking 6 weeks of coding classes and learning different, my son who's 5 is enjoying getting a knowledge base that is deeper than some of the other tools that he's worked on. This is them playing with it, teaching him how to use the xylophone, which I thought was amazing until I'm like, oh, that one note hitting it 400 times on the loop is amazing, but maybe we'll try that later when mommy's around. So another one I love is called Puzzlets. Puzzlets takes this idea where it's a Bluetooth connected board and you just put these little dials on, and it's again creating that same coding factor. I'm going to skip JewelBots, which is a Wi-Fi web Bluetooth connected coding device where you can code different lights to go off at different times. It was intended for, of course, getting females in STEM to create something that they could enjoy, but of course any of these things are good for all kids. I'm going to skip Tickle. People have probably seen me fly a drone around. It's an app that allows you to control any of these devices. Bloxels is amazing, creating your own video games. There's something that's happening here. I went from things that were digital, now we're getting into a different space. It's the evolution of user-friendly, and I think this is super important because when you look at a computer, I used to know, oh, here's the motherboard, here's the RAM, here's this, here's that, and I would talk about, oh, the fan controller going to the... Kids don't know that anymore. They know it comes out of a box and it looks like this. And that's why I love the fact that when we talk about the evolution of the user, unfortunately, it's a little bit of the devolution of the user. And I want to go back to where we go with Kano computers, where you build your own machine, and it comes with a magnifying glass so you can look at the chipsets and understand why the wiring works the way it does, and you put it together yourself. You could also play Minecraft in this way, where you see Minecraft on the top of the screen, you split screen it once to see the Kano blocks program, and then you can split it again to actually see the JavaScript that's behind it. They're coming out with ways to build your own pixel monitors and speakers and cameras, and I find that really cool. Piper, again, even more intense in terms of building an actual machine base. Again, perfect for playing Minecraft and intended for that Minecraft audience. There's a great company that's here, CodeMonkey. There's lots of companies here dealing with coding. I happen to really like the way that CodeMonkey takes the challenge base of a game, but also has a lot of curriculum pieces to it, and they're doing a lot of cool things. And if you don't want to go digital with CodeMonkey, you could look at a game called CodeMonkey Island, which is literally a board game that teaches coding concepts, or Codemaster, or get CodeWise, which is a deck of cards where you program people. and you could give them an arrow left or right. Breakout came out with breakout games that were about coding, but did not use a digital product. And I think that that's really the important part. You could win a thing if you go to breakoutedu.com/FETC. But I love the idea of going old school with coding, because it's not about having the most amazing digital platform. It's about having the concept in your head that you can A, create what you want, and do what you need to it. So an old school thing, how many people played Oregon Trail, right? Well, now you could play it as a card game. And I think that it's true. You haven't lived until you've died of dysentery. That this is, yeah. So the card game's available, I think, exclusively at Target. My kids really liked it. Last point I want to leave you with is coding and making should enable creation, not just regurgitation. Give a kid a bucket of Legos. It doesn't have to be Legos. Give them popsicle sticks. Give them whatever they want to be able to do it. But the thing is that the problem has to matter. And that is the most important part. It's great to make characters walk across screens and do Frozen on Hour of Code and whatever. Those are amazing things. But challenge your kids to say, what do you want to make and create? And then know that they have the tools at their disposal in this amazing world to do exactly that. The most incredible thing this week has always been and always will be you. Continue to share, continue to learn, and we really want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Have an amazing last day of FETC and safe travels home. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, they're good. They're good.